What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Today has been day 12 of the 75 hard challenge for this year's winter arc. So, pretty productive day overall. It's been a tiring one to be quite honest with you, but we knocked her out pretty well. So, got to bed pretty late last night, so we ended up waking up a little bit later this morning. Got up at 7, and honestly, did not have the time this morning to do my cardio, so that's partly on me and partly just wanting to save my legs for practice today. We had a 6-hour long biathlon practice today, did a decent amount of running and a lot more shooting, so getting consistent with that. Shooting wasn't as consistent. I wasn't as focused as last practice, but I'm still right where I want to be, building it up for provs. Speed is looking really good, so I'm pretty happy with that. But knocking out all the running with that knocked out the running part of today's workouts. And then we just finished up a solid half-hour long leg workout and then our half-hour cardio. So legs are sufficiently cooked for the day, but overall it was good. Workouts are done, feeling pretty dialed, and nutrition's locked in. Yeah, supplements as usual we hit first thing in the morning, keeping that consistent with the creatine, then the usual supplement stack. And the L-carnitine has been pretty good, and L-carnitine seems to be taking its effect as well pretty nicely on this cut, so we'll see how it keeps going over the next 75, well, rest of the 75 days. Yeah, but nutrition was locked in. We were a little bit, we were cutting it close today, but we were still under calories. We had lunch provided for us for the practice, which was a little more than I expected. And then we had a fancy dinner tonight for the veterans, which was part of cadets. So it was really, really nice. Really nice banquet that we had this evening. But tracking calories, as always, is a lot harder than that, but it's worth it. Live your life. But yeah, it's been an interesting day in that regard and busy. A lot of cadet stuff today, but last year, this is what I signed up for, and honestly, just living it out to the fullest extent. It's been amazing so far, so got to keep putting in the effort. But yeah, so learning today, we knocked out our half-hour stuff while we were doing our cardio as per usual. Got to finish up my reading before bedtime as usual, but yeah, I got to start switching that to the mornings, be a lot more productive, and then same thing with manifestation in that. We ended up knocking it out a little bit later today. So got to make sure I keep switching that back to the mornings because it's been way better for productivity first thing in the morning. So I'm going to switch that back, see how that goes, play around with it a bit more. But, oh, it's been a tiring day. I got to be honest with you guys. So, yeah. But, yeah, knocked that out. Posting, knocked the stories out, knocked out the reel. So just getting this done for the night. And then, yeah. Yeah. I think that pretty much covers it. And then I guess risk as well. Today for the risk, more just competing with teammates and that stuff where I can be a little bit cocky, but I also got to stay humble by taking those risks because sometimes you don't win, right? If you take a gamble that you're going to beat your teammate at something and you don't, so what? You took a risk, right? You got to keep doing those things to put yourself outside of your comfort zone, though. That's the only way you're going to keep growing and keep living out that stuff. But yeah. Oh. So biggest takeaways from the day, things that I need to work on. So definitely want to work on being able to work a room a little bit better, or at least just not necessarily. Let me rephrase this so it actually sounds like decent English. I'm tired. I think you can tell. But I need to be able to go into a room and start up conversations efficiently with people where it actually has nice flow and they're not sounding forced, stuff like that. I need to work on that. So just overall networking ability in that sense. Like, I have no problem with the confidence speaking to people. It's just building up the flow and consistency of being able to enjoy a good conversation with them. So that's a skill I'm definitely going to have to work on. And then need to work on just making sure stuff is prepped in advance so I have time to take care of the minor things like nutrition, recovery, all that stuff. So yeah, those are the two biggest things from the day, biggest takeaways for myself and future me to look back on. But yeah, so some wisdom I want to leave you guys with for today, and this is something that I wish I told myself 3 years ago. Track your progress. And this is going to seem kind of goofy, but when I first started on this fitness journey 4 years ago, when I first started being 235 pounds at like 38% body fat, extremely overweight, and I was, for context, I was a 5'3" tall kid. I weighed 235 pounds at the end of grade 8. Like, not a good spot to be in by any means. COVID didn't help that, and it just let it continue, right? And I keep kept talking to myself saying, oh, I'm going to change this, going to change this. Never took enough action, right? But I finally put in that dedication at the end of grade 9 in between then and grade 10, where within a span of 4 months, I lost 65 pounds, right? And I think you guys will have heard me talk about this before if you watched some of my previous stuff, or maybe this is your first time hearing about it, but 4 months of dedication completely changed my life. Confidence flipped on like a switch. The ability to start doing things and trying new things that I didn't think I could before, it was just instantaneous. Like being in better health and better shape, it absolutely changes your life. So that is something that I want to push to every single one of you. That's me being real for today. And going off of that, you're going to have days like I had today. It's going to be boring, exhausting, tiring. You're not going to love all of it, but you got to keep doing it, right? You're going to have those days where you're going to feel like, why do I want to keep doing this? What is the point? Why don't I just take the day off, right? Have some fun, which you can't, honestly. If you want to see your goals achieved as fast as possible, you need to keep putting in that effort. Yeah, that's the only way to really do it. There's no other way around it. You guys can try and cheat the system. You can try and find your way through it. You can try and pay your way through it. None of it's going to work, especially when it comes to fitness. You need to be able to put in the work so that you can look yourself in that mirror and with self-confidence and go, I actually look like the person that I want to look like. Now I can start worrying about the rest of things, right? Yeah, I apologize to you guys tonight. I'm more out of it than usual. I'm pretty tired. It's been a long day, but it's worth it. Yeah, no, I want to bring up an interesting thing though. I was having a conversation with one of my fellow teammates and cadets who they're in their second year, but they were bringing up the fact, now this relates specifically to cadets, so you guys won't necessarily know about this, but drill. It's a skill that you have to learn when you first join cadets, and if you join the military, this is a skill you have to learn. So first year when you're learning it, it's going to feel like a massively stressful thing because you have no idea what you're doing starting off, and it's all this memorization and learning how to work and look good with other people and do it in cohesion and preciseness, discipline, all the stuff behind it, building it up so that you can make it look good. It's going to feel like the hardest and most stressful thing ever because it takes so much effort, right? But I feel like this is a really good contrast that I can tie into the entrepreneurial side of things, the fitness side of things, business. You can tie it into so many other things. That first period where you have no prior knowledge to the skill, that is going to be the hardest part, right? And you'll hear guys like Hormozy talk about this, where that first time when you first start fighting your battles, your first one's going to feel like fighting a bear with a stick. This is a direct quote from him. It's going to be the hardest battle out there. But then when you shift to later on in the future, when you've got more experience, more people behind you, everything like that, it's going to feel more like fighting a dragon. So yes, the battle is going to be bigger, but you're fighting it with a nuke instead. And this is a direct quote from him. I'm not going to pretend like I came up with this myself, but I feel like it's a good analogy to tie in comparatively, because going back to the drill, first year, I understood exactly how he felt, because it's like the most stressful thing in the world going through it, trying to understand every minor detail, making sure you do everything to perfection. I'm at the point now, I'm in my 7th year of cadets coming up, and this is my last year, but I can basically do almost every single drill, move, command, stuff, anything in that regard without even thinking about it. Just, I need to know a sequence and I'm done. I can list off a whole parade sequence for you. I can come up with all those things, but it's all the experience going off of it and going through the positions, right? And for me, starting off, when I first started my first year, it was the exact same way. You feel so scared, but as you start moving up through different levels and positions, each parade position that you move up to, this is going to be more specific to people in the military who are going to know what I'm talking about, but for context for you guys, in parade, you are either a member of a squadron, a flight platoon, whatever you are, depending on your affiliation, and then you slowly move up in positions as you achieve higher and higher ranks. So, for example, you move to the marker, or the flight sergeant at the back, or the flight commander, squadron warrant officer, DEPCOM, or just other positions, be it in flag party or rifle guard commander, stuff like that. All of these different positions, each one is harder than the last, right? It's going to have more responsibilities, more roles. You have to look the part a lot more. You have to basically be a higher level of an example. All of this, though, while it's harder, you have all that previous knowledge to fall back on. So, yes, it is a harder battle. You've got more experience, though, so you can have the confidence to attack it at a much higher and more efficient level, and it's going to be way easier to fight. So, now to finally tie this in on my point, no matter what you are going into in your life, especially if you're in fitness or as an entrepreneur, you need to just take that first step. And it's going to be a lot harder to get that momentum and start going. You're going to be fighting that bear with that stick and feeling like, oh my God, how do I even finish this battle? How do I start this? This isn't going to work, right? You're going to have all these thoughts of self-doubt and all that. But once you get past that and realize it is possible for you to win that battle, and you do, everything starts compounding from there. The first bit of getting through, and for me, this was my first initial weight loss that I just told you guys about, it's going to feel like the hardest thing on the planet, just getting started. Because you're not going to see any results for the first 2 to 4 weeks, I guarantee you. No major results. And then eventually, you're going to start to see some. But that first period, you've just got to push through it. That is the only way to get into something. And we're in a society nowadays where if something's hard, people shy away from it. That's a big problem, right? And that's why a lot of creativity and stuff is going out the window. Like, it's a weird thing to fall back on, but people used to talk about how, oh, in the future we're going to have flying cars and all that stuff. And in reality, what have we really come up with as a massive technological advancement other than AI, things like that in the past few years? We've got electric cars now. Okay. But there could be so much more innovation and stuff if people stop giving up on their ideas just because it's hard to achieve. Like, I don't think you understand. The instant you stop caring about other people's opinions and the fact that something is hard to do, and you get over that hump, it is just coasting. And yes, there's going to be the ups and downs, but it is so much easier once you're done that initial hard bit. So, my one piece of advice for you guys to wrap up today: find that hard thing in your life that you know is hard for a good reason, and it's going to put you on the right path once you get over that first bit of hard, and attack it. Don't stop until you're past that point. Beat that bear with the stick. I don't care how hard it is, you need to go win that battle in order to build the momentum. Other than that, that's all I got for the day. Today has been day 12. Subscribe if you guys are liking the content, want to follow the rest of the journey and see a lot more in the future. Remember to like and share this if you guys like it. And yeah, put down in the comments what you guys want to see in future videos. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.